All right, so tonight we're going to be learning Daf Pei Gimel Amud Pei Beis Amud Beis, starting a brand new parak at the bottom of Pei Beis Amud Aleph, and as well we'll be learning Daf Pei Gimel. I've made a little chart that I'm going to be sharing throughout the evening tonight to help keep things clear. The machlokas, the topic of discussion in general of this parak is unique in that it's really not heavily specified to Shabbos. Even the very first Mishnah that we're going to learn is about a unique Isser Derabanan that applies to the world of Avodah Zarah. So let's actually just jump right in, and we'll get to all the details as best we can tonight. And again, Mir Hashem, we're going to be finishing at the Mishnah, which is toward the bottom of Daf Pei Gimel Amud Beis. Let's get started. Pei Beis Amud Aleph at the new parak, Baruch Hashem. This is parak Amar Rabbi Akiva. Amar Rabbi Akiva, minayin la'avodah zarah shemitama b'masa kinida. From where do we know that if one were to carry items that are part of the world of avodah zarah, we'll give some scope to that this evening. From where do we know that it's mitame b'masa, just by moving it that it becomes tameh, just like the world of nida? Now, to be clear, tumas masa by a nida has a doraisa status. However, there is no doraisa tuma when it comes to avodah zarah. It's aser b'hana. It's part of the world of iser v'heter more globally, but it's really not part of the world of tuma v'tara. And to that end, it's very clear that what the Mishnah is referring to here is an iser derabanan, a rabbinic injunction made for those who are involved with the world of avodah zarah. So we'll see in a moment as well that the pasuk that's being quoted here as a proof for Rabbi Akiva's shita is certainly rabbinic in nature, in that it is from Sefer Yeshaya. We have a general rule that divrei Torah and divrei Kabbalah lo yalfinan, that we don't learn out dinei deoraisa from psukim that are outside of the 5 books of Moses, from the Chamisha Chumshei Torah, of which this is one of them. So what's the text proof for Rabbi Akiva's shita that avodah zarah is mitami b'masa, that when you carry it, it can make something tameh? Shene'emar, as the pasuk says, Tizreim kemo dava say tomar lo. Tizreim, you should spread out, meaning you should run away from it. Kemo dava, you should distance yourself from it, from the avodah zarah, like one would from a nida. Say tomar lo, you should say go away. And what's the comparison that's made from this pasuk? The comparison is manida matama b'masa, just like a nida. If she carries something, it can make an item tameh. Af avodah zarah mitama b'masa. It seems like a very clean Mishnah. The Mishnah omits the sheet of the Rabbanan that disagrees with Rabbi Akiva, and we'll be spending much of the evening trying to define the machlokas between Rabbi Akiva and the Rabbanan. But before we do that, we're going to open with a Gemara that's only connected in an ancillary fashion. Tanan, the Gemara opens with a Mishnah quoting the following. Let's say someone's house abuts that of a place of idol worship. So what's the din? It's based on samach lavodah zarah v'nafal, and the house fell down. Now you have a common wall with the base of avodah zarah, but at the same time you can't be a part of the process of building a base of avodah zarah. So what should you do? So the din is aser livnoser. You're not allowed to build a house where one of your 4 walls is one of their 4 walls. The common wall, it's not allowed. Kate said, "Yasa, what should he do? He's allowed to move 4 amos away from that wall and then build a new 4th wall for himself. That's totally appropriate. But you're going to lose that 4 feet off of the breadth of your house because you're not allowed to have a wall that's common to a wall of a base of avodah zarah." Turning to the top of Daf Pei Beis Amud Beis, continues the Gemara. Haya shelo v'shel avodah zarah. Let's say that ownership-wise, the wall was a 50-50. The bricks in the wall were half owned by you and half owned by the base of avodah zarah. So then we just measure differently. Nidon mechza al mechza. We measure half of the width of the wall. That half of the width of the wall can then be part of your dalet amos. Okay, very good. What about avana ve'etzav va'afarav? What about the stones and the wood and the dirt that is used from the base of avodah zarah? There we say mitamen kisheretz. It will have the status of tameh like sheretz, and the din by sheretz is that a person who carries anything like that will become metame b'maga. Even if they touch it, it has tumas maga, which is a lower level of tuma, and tumas masa is a higher level of tuma. Shene'emar, how do we know? Because the pasuk says shaket teshaktzen. Very good. End of that little mini sugya. Now the Gemara requotes the opinion of Rabbi Akiva, which we just learned in our Mishnah, 3 lines down. Rabbi Akiva Omer Kinida. We said that the Isser Derabanan of avodah zarah that we apply to the world of Avodah Zarah is similar to that of Anida. And what did we say in the Mishnah? We said that that's Tumas Masa, Shene'emar, Tizrein, Kimodava, Manida Mitama B'masa, Af Avodah Zarah Mitama B'masa, almost a quote from the Mishnah, slight differences, but the Shita is still the same. Continues the Gemara in explanation, what did Rabbi Akiva mean by this pasuk? So many hundreds of years later, about maybe 200 years later, Rabba came along, Amar Rabba, Tizrein de Amar Kra, when the pasuk in Yeshaya said Tizrein, that you should make yourself distant from, what did it mean? Tizrein de Amar Kra, Nachrinhu minach kezar. You should make it strange to you like a stranger. You should not become comfortable with that world of Avodah Zarah. What about the rest of the pasuk? Say Tomar lo, Hachnes al Tomar lo. Don't get close to this thing. You want to keep a distance. You want to keep a distance. So that's the psychology, as it were, of the Din D'Rabbanan that Rabbi Akiva was putting in place per the explanation of Rabbah. Now the Gemara is going to get into the machlokes between two Amoraim in regards to how we understand this Shita of Rabbi Akiva. I'm just going to share this chart with you, which we're hopefully going to be utilizing over the course of the next Amud or so, and we'll make reference to it as we see. Of course, at the top, we're talking about the Tumah D'Rabbanan of Avodah Zarah, but Rabbah, as you can see on the right side, Rabbah has his own explanation of this machlokes between Rabbi Akiva and the Rabbanan. So let's see. The Amar Rabbah, we're about 8 lines down, 1/3 of the way down on Pei Beis Mud Beis. Amar Rabbah, Bimasa, when it comes to Tumas Masa, de Kuleyama lo pligi dimitama. Everyone agrees that there's Tumas Masa, midrabanan, by Avodah Zarah, iskash lanida, because we have a pasuk that indicates that there's a similarity between the world of Avodah Zarah and the world of Nida, and that's Tumas Masa. So if you look here, if you look right here on the right side here, under Rabbah, under Masa, it'll say Tameh by both of them. That they both hold, there's lo pligi. That's not where the machlokes is. Ki pligi, continues the Gemara. Where is the machlokes? The machlokes is in this next category, which is referred to as the Even Misama. What's Even Misama? Take a look at Rashi Dibur Hamaskal, the Even Misama, 1.5 inches above where we are. The Even Misama, Even, Shesamuha al Gabe Yasedos. It's a rock that's propped up on pegs. The Kelim Tachteha. And there are kelim, there are utensils that are underneath it. So that's the question, is when there is, let's say, a nida or a zav, someone sits on top of that rock, would it make everything that's underneath it, everything that's underneath that rock in the space beneath the rock itself that's being propped up on the pegs, would we say that there's tuma there as well? So that's what the Gemara says, ki pliki be'even misama, Rabbi Akiva savar kinida, manida betama be'even misama, af avodah zarah betama be'even misama. So that's the shita here that we see Rabbi Akiva by Even Misama. He says it's tame kinida. However, v'rabbanan savre kisheretz. They say no, it's not mitame b'masa. It's really only mitame b'maga. So that's the language here. Masheretz lo mitame be'even misama. Just like a sheretz is not going to be tame be'even misama, af avodah zarah lo mitama be'even misama. So then there would be no tuma. So then this is how Rabbah understands this world. Rabbi Akiva holds that there's tuma in both cases. That there's tuma d'Rabbanan of avodah zarah by a case of masa. When you carry that item, it can make you tame. Or if it is underneath an item that this person, that the person, the Baal Avodah Zarah, sits on. Masha'in came, the Rabbanan argue in the case of Even Misama, they say it's not like the case of Nida, but rather it's like the case of Shaketz to Shaktsenu, like the case of a Sheretz. And because of that, in the case of Even Misama, that's how Rabbah understands this whole world. Now the Gemara is going to ask, wait a minute, but they each have Mari Makomos. We know that Rabbi Akiva had the pasuk that referenced Nida. So let's see how the Gemara explains how each of these Tanaim dealt with the other Mari Makomos. A little bit before the halfway down mark, Ula Rabbi Akiva, Lemai Hilchasa Iskash L'Sheretz. Why is it? What do we do with the Mari Makomos of the Rabbanan? The Rabbanan had a hekesh from the world of Avodah Zarah to the world of Sheret. So what do we do with that? L'mai hilchasa iskash l'Sheret. What do we learn from that? Answers the Gemara, Limeshamshe. What is Limeshamshe? Take a look at Rashi, an inch above where we are. Limeshamshe she'en hakelim hameshamshin mitamin. We're not talking about the utensils of Avodah Zarah. We're only talking about Avodah Zarah mamish. And if it's not Avodah Zarah mamish, it's not really a discussion. What about the source for, what did the Rabbanan do with the source of Rabbi Akiva? Ula Rabbanan, L'mai hilchasei iskash l'nida. Why did Rabbi Akiva use a Mari Makom to say Nida? What do we learn from there? So there the Gemara says, Lamasa, There, the Gemara says, what do we see? We see that there is tumas masa. Now the Gemara is bothered by something. According to the Rabbanan, if you say that there is a degree of tumas masa in the world of avodah zarah midrabanan, and if you also say that there's no even misama, that there's no tuma under the rocks that are propped up, so then we kind of went the circuitous route, because there's another mari makom that we could have used that would have been encapsulating of the shita of the Rabbanan. What's the shita of the Rabbanan within Rabbah? Again, I hope my Zoom didn't just mess up. So that it's clear here. So within the world of Rabbah, the Rabbanan said it's metame b'masa, but it's not metame be'evan misama. If that's true, then we use difficult mari mekomos. We went the long route. Why? Because, it says the Gemara, the loksha rachmana lenevela. According to the Rabbanan, who hold that there is tumas masa, but there's no tuma under the evan misama, we could have learned that from the world of Nevela, and it would have been way less complicated than it would have been to fight with Rabbi Akiva. So why then did the Rabbanan try to learn from their world of Sheretz and try to explain away Rabbi Akiva when they had a very clean Mari Makom? Answers the Gemara, Inachanami, you're right. In theory, the Rabbanan could have done that, but they didn't want to. Why not? Because, says the Gemara, Elaman Nida Eina Le'evarim, just like by Nida, if, God forbid, a woman who's in Nida had an injury and there was a finger that was removed, that body part has no din of Nida. That's something that we learn out of the drasha of Sheretz and from the drasha of Rabbi Akiva as it relates to Nida. So that's why we had to learn it. Elama nida eina le'evarin, af avodah zara eina le'evarim. So too, by avodah zara, there's no status of avodah zara when it's broken down into its components, only when it's one larger entity. Ay ve'elaha de boy Rav Chama bar Guria. Rav Chama bar Guria was troubled by something. Here's what he was troubled by. Avodah zara, yeshna le'evarin o eina le'evarin. He asked this question about whether or not there was avodah zara by evarin. But why would he ask that question? We have the answer. Tifshot le'mehad de l'Rabbanan eina le'evarim. We already learned out that the whole reason why the Rabbanan used the drasha that they did was to teach us this special aspect of avodah zara, that when it's broken down into its parts, that there's no tuma. So what was his question? Why was Rabbi Chama bar Guria still left with a question mark? We have the sheet of the Rabbanan. Answers the Gemara, Rabbi Chama bar Guria aliba d'Rabbi Akiva bai. Because Rabbi Chama bar Guria wasn't asking about the sheet of the Rabbanan. Rabbi Chama bar Guria was asking, what did Rabbi Akiva think about it? And we don't know the answer to that question as of yet. And that's why the Gemara highlights that we still don't have an answer to the question of Rabbi Chama bar Guria. We're 2/3 of the way down. We're right about to start the sheet of Rabbi Eliezer, and we'll switch over in the image here to the left side, just so we can understand his sheet a little bit more in the visual form as well. Says the Gemara, Rabbi Elazar Amar, be'evan misama dekule alma lo pligi dimitama. He starts the other way. By Rabba, we said that everyone agreed that there was tumas masa. By Rabbi Elazar, look where the commonality is. Eino mitame. So there's no machlokas according to Rabbi Elazar that there is no machlokas in regards to the evan masama. Everyone agrees that there's no tuma there. Where is the machlokas ki pligi b'masa? When we talk about tumas masa as it relates to the Yisur D'Rabbanan of tuma by avodah zara, what's the machlokas? Rabbi Akiva samar kinida. So Rabbi Akiva said that this person's tameh right here because just like nida, just like our Mishnah, just like the pasuk. Ma nida matama b'masa, avodah zara matama b'masa. V'Rabbanan, the rabbis argued and said sarek sheretz. They said no, ma sheretz lo matame b'masa. Sheretz is only matame b'tumas maga. So a sheretz is not matame b'tumas masa. Af avodah zara lo matama b'masa. Okay, and then now within the world of Rabbi Elazar, I'll just stop the screen share for a moment. We'll come back to ask some sophisticated questions in the Gemara on the Amud Aleph of Pei Gimel. So we'll get there shortly. But now, according to the sheet of Rabbi Elazar, how do both the Rabbanan and Rabbi Akiva understand each other's Mari Makomos? 3 lines from the bottom of the page. Rabbi Akiva, L'mai hilchasa iskash l'sheretz. Why is it that the Rabbanan compared it to sheretz? To teach me le'meshamshe, for the things that service the avodah zara, but that are not the avodah zara themselves. That we don't extend the Isur D'Rabbanan to the kelim. We only maintain the Isur D'Rabbanan for the actual tuma of the avodah zarah itself. The Rabbanon lemay hilchasa iskash lenida. How do you utilize the Mari Makom of Rabbi Akiva, where he made an equivalence between the world of avodah zarah and the world of nida, such that there's tumas masa? Last line, ma nida eino le'evarim. How do the Rabbanon explain that? Again, just like we saw before, they hold that just like nida, that if a woman has a limb amputated when she is a nida, that limb doesn't have the status of nida as it relates to tumas masa. Nothing at all. So ma nida eino le'evarim, af avodah zarah eino le'evarim, and that brings us to the very last words of this page, and that's how the Rabbanon explain the Mari Makom of Rabbi Akiva, and they say that we explain it away by highlighting an inferred halacha that when an avodah zarah is broken down into its components, that there is no isser of tuma. The isser d'Rabbanan of tuma for avodah zarah was limited in scope. Iver Rabbi Akiva, lemay hilchasa iskash lenido. You just said it was lamasa. Rabbi Akiva, you said that the reason why we're comparing nida is lemasa, to teach me the isser d'Rabbanan of masa. So if that's true, then we are left with a problem. What is the problem that we're left with? The problem is that look at Rabbi Akiva's shita here under Rabbi Elazar. Under Masa, it's Tameh. Under Evan Mesama, it's Eino Tameh. It's the same as it was by Rabbah for the Rabbanon. Under Masa, it's Tameh. And under Eino Mesama, it's Eino Tameh. And what did we ask over here on the Rabbanon? We said they have a better Mari Makom. Why didn't they learn this out from Nevela, which automatically is Metame B'masa and not Metame in a case of Evan Mesama? So now, because these two shitas, Tameh and Eino Metame, are the same here of Tameh and Eino Metame, so that's why the Gemara is now bothered. And the Gemara says, I don't understand. Rabbi Akiva, if you're saying that it's Metame B'tumas Masa, but there's no Tuma by Evan Mesama, again, all within the world of Rabbi Elazar, the second approach, so then look Sheila Nevela. I don't understand. Why didn't you just learn that better Mari Makom? It's cleaner. There's less machlokes. Just use the easier Mari Makom. Answers the Gemara, Nachanami. We could have done that, and we would have been right about the dinim as it relates to the Yisra of Avodah Zarah. However, Elaman nida ein le'evarim, af Avodah Zarah eina le'evarim. But we had to still learn out this unique din within the world of Rabbi Akiva. We had to learn out this unique din that when an Avodah Zarah is broken down into its components, that the Isser Derabanan of Tuma does not extend to that shattered or broken down. Let's just say conceptually, let's say a person worshipped Legos, right? They worshipped a certain formulation of Legos, certain colors. If you break it down into pieces, that's not Avodah Zarah anymore, and there's no Isser Derabanan of Tuma. There might still be an Isser Doraisa of Avodah Zarah. That's possible, but that's the world of Isser Veheter. That's the world of, are you violating Avodah Zarah? But to say Tuma V'Tara Midirabanan, that we're not going to say in such a case. So then says the Gemara, wait a minute. Rav Chama Bar Guria. We had asked earlier in the world of Rabbah, we're going to ask a similar question here in the world of Rebbe Lazar. In the world of Rebbe Lazar, within the sheet of Rabbi Akiva, what did we say? Avodah Zarah yeshna le'evarim or ein le'evarim. We should have said tifshot le. We should have learned meha bein le'Rabbanan bein le'Rabbi Akiva de'ein le'evarim. We've already seen once that the Rabbanan already hold that they utilize this svara, they utilize these Mari Makomos of sheretz and nida instead of the easier, cleaner Mari Makom of nevela. Why? To teach us that when an avodah zarah is broken down into its components, that there's no Isser Derabanan of Tuma. Rabbi Akiva just said the same exact thing. So then what was Rav Chama Bar Guria's question to start with? Both according to the Rabbanan, as we saw on the bottom of the Amud Aleph, of the Amud Beis. And now, according to Rabbi Akiva, as we see on Pei Gimel Amud Aleph, everyone agrees that the reason why we did not learn from the world of nevela was because we wanted to make sure that we learned that when avodah zarah was broken into pieces, that there's no Isser of Tumah Midrabanan that extends to it. So then says the Gemara, I don't understand. What was Rav Chama Bar Guria's question to start with? Nobody holds that way. Everybody agrees that there's no Tumah when an avodah zarah is broken down into its components. So says the Gemara, Rav Chama Bar Guria kiraba masne uvai le aliba d'Rabakiva. The Gemara responds by saying, your question over here is not appropriate. You got the history wrong. When Rav Chama Bar Guria was asking his question, it was not in response to the sheet of Rebbe Lazar, which we've just been focusing on for the last 15 lines. It was only asked in context of the sheet of Rabbah and according to the opinion of Rabbi Akiva. So let's just look back at the picture here because it will help us again to understand. Rav Chama Bar Guria's question that he was bothered by cannot be asked here because that's not where he asked the question. Yes, the Gemara framed the question, but You can't even ask the question. Ruchama Bar Guria, what? Maybe he agrees. We don't know. It doesn't make a difference. His question was only asked in the world of Rabbah and only asked in the sheet of Rabbi Akiva. So basically, the Gemara is saying, when you say your question here within the world of Rebbe Lazar, your question's off target. Your question is not allowed to be asked here because Chama Bar Guria wasn't bothered by that question as it related to Rebbe Lazar. Only as it related to the world of Rabbah, Rabbah's understanding of the machlokes of Rabbi Akiva and the Rabbanan, and only within the shita of the Rabbanan. I'll keep this up now because this question of the Gemara is now going to be important. It'll make it easier to understand the question. Sorry, just very parched. I apologize. Says the Gemara, 8 lines down. Meisivei. We have a question from a source in the Tanaim. Avodah Zara kisheretz u mishamsheha kisheretz. Avodah Zara, the Avodah Zara itself is treated like a sheretz, like the sheets of the Rabbanan. Mishamsheha, and the tools that services it are also kisheretz. Rabbi Akiva argues, Rabbi Akiva Omer, Avodah Zara Kenida, Mishamsheha kisheretz. Now he says that when it comes to the Avodah Zara itself, it's treated like a sheretz, but when it comes to the kelim, it's treated, like a nida. But the kelim that service the Avodah Zara is like a sheretz. So now, in regards to the shita of the first part of the Gemara, Bishlama le Rebbe Lazar nicha. I understand Rebbe Lazar's approach. I understand the approach of Rebbe Lazar in regards to how he explained the Gemara by the Shita of the Rabbanan, that everything is going to be, if you look at by the Rabbanan's Shita over here on the bottom, everything is Eino Matame. Everything is Eino Matame Masa. Because he holds that everything is like a sheretz. And a sheretz is only Matame Tumas Maga, that lower level, but not this higher level. That makes perfect sense. Ela le Rabba Kashya. How does Rabba understand this brisa? According to Rabba's understanding of the Rabbanan is that they held that there was tumas masa. But the brisa that we just learned says that they don't hold that way. So how does Rabba answer this brisa? Answers the Gemara, 1/3 of the way down. Amar lach Rabba, miyalima mimas nisan. Is it any more challenging than our Mishnah, the Katani, as we saw earlier? Eitza ve'avana ve'afar mitamen kisheretz. We said that the wood and the stones and the dirt. Remember when the building fell down and it had a shared wall with a base of Avodah Zarah. There we said it's Matame Kesheretz. And how did we treat that case of Sheretz? The Ukimna my Kesheretz de lo metame be'eben masama. We said it was only talking about the Eben Masama. In other words, this brisa is not referencing a regular case of Tumas Masa. It's only referring to this case of Eben Masama. So whereas you're bothered by this shita of Rabba that he says Tame, we don't care. That brisa is not a question because that brisa could be talking only about the category of Eben Hamasama, and therefore the question falls away. The only thing that Bryce is teaching me is about items that are found underneath this rock that's propped up on the pegs, as we've discussed. Next question, first of the longest lines. Mesivei Nachri v'Nachris. You have a man and a woman, not Jewish. Rashi here points out that they have a status of Zav. We treat the status of Zav midrabanan. That if a goy has a status of Zav midrabanan. Avodah Zara, Nachri v'Nachris, Avodah Zara Shamsheha. The Avodah Zara and the things that service the Avodah Zara, Hain velo hesetan. The people, have a status of Tuma. However, velo hesetan, not the things that they move. They can't make other things into being Tamei Tumas Masa. That's the sheet of the Rabbana. Rabbi Akiva Omer, Hain vehesetan. Yes, it's them and the items that they move. They all can have the status of Tuma. Now this works out again. Kaftor v'ferach. It's perfect for the sheet of Rebbe Lazar, who holds, according to the Chachamim, that the same rules apply in both cases. Velo hesetan. That works out great. That works out perfectly. Ela Rabba, but according to Rabba, who says that they do hold of tumas masa under certain circumstances, kasha. That doesn't work either. So how do we understand this brisa according to Rabba? Answers the Gemara. Amar lecha Rabba. Rabba says, it's not like the brisa makes sense according to your perspective either. Ula ta'ameich nachri v'nachris. This man and woman who have a status midrabanan of zav and zava, nami hain velo hesetan. You could say that they're tamei, but the things that they touch are not tamei. Ve'atanya, that's not true. Daber b'nei Yisrael v'gomer b'nei Yisrael metamen beziva ve'ein Nachrim metamin beziva. There should be no status of zav by a goy midoraisa or midorabanan because we have a brisa that says so. Aval gazra lein shu kezav and l'chol divrehen. However, you're right, midoraisa they're not a zav and a zava, but midorabanan they are. And if they are treated midorabanan, then why was it, as it says in this brisa, v'lo haseitan, that when they move things they don't become tameh? So you, Rebbe Lazar, the brisa doesn't make sense according to you. So therefore, the brisa is then reinterpreted according to both the shita of Rabbah and according to the shita of Rebbe Lazar. According to the first approach, about halfway down, Ela Rabbah mitaret l'tameh, Rabbah explains his shita like this: Nachri v'nachris hein v'heseitan v'even misama shelahen. When it comes to this non-Jewish man and non-Jewish woman, they are tameh midirabanan as a zav and a zava. They are tameh. That which they move becomes tameh. And if they sit on top of that rock that's propped up on the pegs, anything underneath it will become tameh. Avodah zara. What about the avodah zara itself? So there, the heseta. There we would say that the avodah zara itself and that which it moves. We'll discuss what this means shortly. Aval lo even misama shala. However, midirabanan we don't extend it to even misama. Rabbi Akiva Omer avodah zara hi v'heseta ve'even misama shala. He extends it still further. So now this is how Rabbah reinterprets the brisa, adding in some words to give a little bit more color, a little richness to the brisa, to make it fit his shita perfectly, as it does, as we saw in the document that I just shared. How does Rabbi Lazar understand this source? Rabbi Lazar mitaretz l'tameh, he understands this a little bit differently. Nachri v'nachris, this man and woman who have a status midrabanan of zav and zava, hein v'heseitan ve'even misama shalahen. These two people, that which they move, and the even misama, this is true for a zav and a zava. What about avodah zara? Our case, avodah zara. What about avodah zara? So then we say the avodah zara itself, yes, v'lo heseitan, not that which is moved by those people. Rabbi Akiva, how does Rabbi Lazar understand the brisa according to Rabbi Akiva? Rabbi Akiva Omer avodah zara hi v'heseta. So that's how they both understand things. So now the Gemara is just bothered in general by something, which is a language that was found in this brisa. The language was, if you just look up a few lines at the first of the longest lines there, just keep a finger here by Maskefla, 2/3 of the way down, go back to the first of the longest lines, it said, Nachri v'nachris avodah zara shamsheh hein v'lo hesetan. They are tamei, but nothing else. So the Gemara is bothered by that. Maskefla, back to where we are, 2/3 of the way down. Maskefla Ravashi, my hein. What do you mean that they are tamei? Of course they are tamei. There's a formal isser derabanan, a formal din derabanan, a status on a goy that they're treated like a zav and a zava. Hold on one second, please. So why does the Gemara say that they are, by definition, tamei? We know that they're tamei. They already had that status, and it's not new. Elam Ravashi hachi kamar. No, this is pshat. This is a little long-winded, but it does explain the brisa a little bit better as to why this language was chosen of they are tamei. Here's how the Gemara explains itself. Nachri v'nachris, a man and woman, non-Jewish, bein hein shehesitu esacherim, whether they move other people. So a nachri and a nachris, a non-Jew who move a person. So the person they move becomes tamei midrabanan, tumas hesed, tumas masa. Uvein acherem shehesitu osan, or if someone walks over to the nachri and picks up the nachri and move, they push them, whatever the case may be. In all of those cases, tamei. What about avodah zara? Avodah zara shehesitu acherem tahorin. Avodah zara that moves people. How does an inanimate object move people? The Gemara is going to ask that question shortly. Avodah zara she'isita acherim tahorin. If avodah zara moves people, so they are considered to be tahor. Acherim she'isitu osa. But someone who moves the avodah zara, you pick up the pesel, you pick this up and you move it yourself. So there we would say tamei. Misham sheha. What about the kalim that service it? Bein hein she'isitu es acherim, bein acherim she'isitu osan tahorim. Again, as we've mentioned 3 or 4 times already, the isser derabanan that we have of tuma by avodah zara doesn't apply to the kalim of avodah zara. It only applies to the avodah zara itself. Rabbi Akiva Omer, how does that was all the Rabbana. How do we understand the sheet of Rabbi Akiva? Again, keeping in mind this question of why does it say the word hein, that they are tamei? We know that they're tamei. Says the Gemara 5 lines from the bottom, Nachri v'nachris v'avodah zara, bein hein she'isitu esacherim, whether or not they moved others, uvein acherim she'isitu osan timein. They're going to be tamei. Misham she'ah bein hein she'isitu acherim, bein acherim she'isitu osan tahorin. Rabbi Akiva l'shita, so that there is no tumah there either. So now the Gemara is going to ask that question that I just referenced. Avodah zara, if you look 3 lines from the bottom, Avodah Zarah, when we were talking about Avodah Zarah in this new explanation of Rav Ashi within this brisa, so Bishlama Acherim Sheisitu Osa Mishkach Asla. I understand a person who worships Avodah Zarah. They could walk over to the stone, to the rock, to the wood. They could move it, pick it up and move it. And if they do, that's how you have movement. That's how you have Mishkach Asla of Acherim Sheisitu Osa, people who move the Avodah Zarah. Elahi Sheisita Acherim Mehechi Mishkach Asla. I mean, let's get real. Even if we don't understand the temptation of Avodah Zarah now, but at the end of the day, how does an inanimate object move somebody? So the Gemara answers very cleverly. Amar Rami Berei de Rav Yeva, Kiditznan, like the Mishnah says. If there was a zav, hazav bekaf moznaim, imagine those scales that are two-sided. So what they would normally do is they'd want to weigh things out. They'd put a 1 kilogram weight on one side and they'd weigh out the exact measure on the other side. When the scale was balanced, you knew you had the right weight. So let's say that you had a zav sitting on one side of the scale, hazav bekaf moznaim, ve'ochlin umashkin bekaf shnia, and you have food and drink on the other side. Kara hazav tmein. If the zav moves and that makes the food on the other side of the scale move, so then the food's going to be tamei. Turning to the top of Pei Gimel Amud Beis, karu hein tehorin. However, if the food moves the zav, so then that's not the case. So therefore, that's going to be the same answer to our case. That is a case where an avodah zarah can move other things. So let's say that there's a person sitting on one side of the scale, and they put down an avodah zarah that's particularly heavy, and it moves you on the other side of the scale. So that's what this brisa meant when it said that it's possible for an avodah zarah to move different items. Continues the Gemara on the top of Pei Gimel Amud Beis. Kiman azla hadatanya. Like whom is this brisa? What does this brisa say? Kol hatmeos hamesitos tehoros chutz miaseto shel zav. All of the types of tuma in the Torah, of tumas hesed, of moving an item and it having a status of tummy, they're all tahor, with one exception, and that is of the zav, shalomatzinu lo chaber b'chol haTorah kula, because that is an example where it has no other friend in it in Torah. That's the only type of hesed that we have, which is by a zav. So the Gemara says, Lema deloka Rabbi Akiva. This must not be like Rabbi Akiva, because Rabbi Akiva held that there was tumas masa, tumas hesed by avodah zarah. So it must be, if this Mishnah is being so categorical to say that all of the other tumos in the Torah are not shaykh by tumas hesed except for zav, it must not be like Rabbi Akiva, who included even avodah zarah. Says the Gemara, the Rabbi Akiva, ikanami avodah zarah. Rabbi Akiva would not fit with this Mishnah. Says the Gemara, afilu tema Rabbi Akiva. We could even answer according to Rabbi Akiva, how so? Tana zav v'chol damila. You have to edit the Mishnah and say that the Mishnah was inclusive of zav and anything like it. What is zav and anything like it? Obviously, that would include, in this case, avodah zarah. Back to a question that we have somewhat spoken about. Bai Rav Chama Bar Guria, avodah zarah yeshna le'evar mo'enu le'evar. A question that we asked: what happens if you have an avodah zarah that's made out of parts? Again, the Legos example. Now it's broken into its parts. So what do we say? Do we say heicha dehedyo yachol le'achzir lo tibaylach? I'm not even talking about a case where the average person can put it back together. If that's the case, it's as if the thing is still attached. It's easy to put back together. It's a kid's puzzle. There's 14 pieces. It takes you 3 minutes to put the thing together. That's pashut that's going to still be considered connected. Maybe we would have said, Kiti Bailach, when is there a shaila about whether or not it still has a din of avodah zarah? Is heicha de'ein hedyo yachol lachzira. When a regular person, a lay person, not a skilled craftsman, when that person does not know how to put it back together, then what do we say? Do we say kevan de'ein hedyo yachol lachzira command mispera dami? Do we say that because the average person cannot put it back together, it's command mispera? It's as if it's mispar, tafshin, interchangeable, the mishpera, that it's broken, and therefore it doesn't have the din of tuma. O dilma ha lo mechasra, that no pieces are missing, and therefore because no pieces are missing, even though the craftsman is lacking, so still we would still say that it has the status of avodah zarah. That's one approach, which is to say that if it's easy to put together, then it's still considered mechubar, and if not, then not. But then the Gemara presents another approach, a quarter of the way down. Some reverse it. No, if you can't put it back together, that's not where we have the chakira. If you need a craftsman to put it together and you don't know how, that's mispera, that's broken. We're not going to extend the tuma to that world. But rather, maybe within this frame, kiti bailach, where would there be a question, is heicha dehedyo yachal lahachzira, when a person is able to put it together. There we would ask the question, what is the din? Do we say, kevan dehedyo yachal lahachzira kaman de michper adami? Do we say that because someone is able to put it back together with relative ease, therefore we say it's the michpera, it's still considered to be one entity? Odilma hashta miha kashalfa visharia, but right now it's not put together, so maybe we should say that there's no extension of tuma back to this item. So there, we don't know the answer to that question. Just one or two more sigas, we're going to get up to the Mishnah, and then we will pause for the night. Do we have a shear by avodah zarah? What a strange question. If you worship a tiny little nothing, which we'll see that some people used to do, you're not over the Isser. Well, that's what the Gemara is bothered by. Maskifla Rav Yosef lemai. What question are you even asking? Of course, avodah zarah doesn't have a shear. Ilema le'inyan isura lo yehei el zvuv bal ikron. You want to talk about Isser beheter? You want to talk about whether you're violating the Isser of avodah zarah? Well, nothing could get smaller than the fly that people in Ekron used to worship. Tanya, the Brisa writes, "V'yasimulem bal bris le'Elohim zezivuv bal ikron." People used to worship flies. Melamed, what they used to do is shekol echad ve'echad asa demus yiraso manicha besoch kiso. They would take that thing which they worship, make an image of it, and put it in their pocket. Kevan shezochra. When they think about it, what would they do with the avodah zarah? They take it out of their pocket. They would take out this little formed fly from their pocket, and they would hug it and they would kiss it to show their ahava for their avodah zarah. So says the Gemara, that was all tongue in cheek. Of course, that can't be it, because at the end of the day, that the isser v'heter component of avodah zarah has no shear. That's pashut. If you worship a little bug, you violate the Yisr Midoraisa of avodah zarah, Yeharag Val Yavor. So that's for sure not it. Ela le'inyan tuma mai. But no, we're talking about our Mishnah that we started this parak with, Parak Amar Rabbi Akiva. In regards to tuma, do we say that there's a shear? Do we only apply the dinim midrabanan of tuma to avodah zarah when there's a certain shear? So that's the Gemara's question. Kevan de iskash l'sheretz. Maybe we would have argued that since in some cases we compared it to a sheretz, ma sheretz becha adasha, avodah zarah nami becha adasha. Maybe just like by a sheretz, it has a minimum shear becha adasha, the size of a lentil. Avodah zarah nami becha adasha. Maybe we should have said that so too by avodah zarah. Oh, Dilma, or perhaps iskish lameis. Maybe we could have said that there's a comparison here to a mace. Ma mace bekizayis, avodah zarah bekizayis. So which one is it? When it comes to Tumah V'Tara, do we, of course, by Isser V'Heter, for sure we're going to say that there's no minimum. You can violate the Isser of Avodah Zarah with any amount. The question is by Tumah V'Tara. So the Gemara tries to answer this question. Amar Rav Avya, V'Tema Rabba Bar Ula Tashma. Let's see if we can try to prove this from a Brisa to Tanya. Avodah Zarah Pchusa Mikizayis Ein Ba Tumah Kol Iker. Oh, that's very clear. If in fact there is an Avodah Zarah, like the Zavuv, like the fly that people carried in their pocket, and it was not yet the size of a kizayis, ein batuma kol iker, we do not apply the Isser derabanan of Tumah V'Tara to the world of Avodah Zarah. Shneimar, as the pasuk says, vayashlech es ofra el kever b'nei ha'am, ma meis bekizayis, af Avodah Zarah bekizayis. Very good. The Gemara goes back to ask just one general question on the Shita of the Rabbanan. And that is that all of the Dinei D'Rabbanan that we saw were fairly lenient Dinei D'Rabbanan. And the Gemara wants to understand why that's the case. Let's read. The Rabbanan, Lemai Hilchasa Iskash, what were all the comparisons that we saw? We saw the Sheretz, the lo metame b'masa. From Sheretz, we learned the leniency that we're not going to be metame b'masa according to the Rabbanan. Lenida de'eno le'evar, and from the world of Nida, the Rabbanan learned out that there's no iser of tuma by avodah zarah that's in its components, in its parts. And lemeis de lo metame b'cha adasha. We saw another kula that the shear is larger by mace than it was by Sheretz. So Eimal L'chumra, why don't we say all of them in a strict way? We could have learned something L'chumra from all of them. We didn't have to learn all kulas. Why did the Rabbanan learn out all kulas? So answers the Gemara, L'mai hilchasa iksha rachmana l'sheretz, l'tmuye b'cha adasha, l'nida l'tmuye be'evan misama, aksha rachmana l'meis l'tmuye be'ohel. I could come up with chumras just like this in all three cases. I could have said that the case of sheretz was to be metame b'cha adasha, a more strict, smaller shear. I could have said that by nida was to teach me that you were being metame be'evan misama, underneath that rock that's propped up on the pegs. And I could have also come up with a chumra by mace to say that there's tumas ohel. Why all the kulas? Why were the Rabbanan so makel with the din derabanan? There were so many opportunities to add to the Tumah midirabanan. So answers the Gemara with a principle. Tumas avoda zara derabanan. The whole concept from the beginning of the Mishnah to right here to the end of the Gemara on this Mishnah was only referencing one Isser derabanan as it relates to the world of avodah zara. Mida oraisa, there is no Tumah by avodah zara. There's only the world of Isser veheter. We have Asr and Mutter, and we have Tameh and Tahor. We're only talking about Asr and Mutter here. And it's Avodah Zarah's Asr. Absolutely, it's Asr. Tumah V'Tar is all Derabanan. Fine, the Chachamim are allowed to make rules. So they made a rule of an Isser Derabanan. But within that rule, Tumas Avodah Zarah Derabanan hi, V'Kula V'Chumra. There are leniencies and there are stringencies. But L'Kula Makshinan, L'Chumra Lo Makshin. But when we're making Hekation, this is a nuance within the world of Dini Derabanan, that when the Chachamim make a Din Derabanan, they do so in such a way that when there's a Hekesh component, we use those for leniencies instead of stringencies. But the fundamental aspect of the Isser Derabanan does still exist. It's just that it's overarchingly, it's not as strict as it could have been. So we'll stop here. We are, of course, not learning tomorrow night. We've already caught up to tomorrow night's daf. And we'll pick up again in Yom Hashem on Motzei Shabbos, and I think we'll still be behind a blot. We'll catch up. But I just wanted to wish you all a beautiful and meaningful Shavuos, a Gevaldik night of learning at home, and a pleasure.
Shkaya.